What's going on, guys? It's Axel McChicken, aka McFat. Oh, wait a second. I forgot my music wouldn't pause when I started recording because I'm listening to it on CD. I love physical media and Claro and doing things performatively. I know you guys probably haven't seen me in a little while. I'm not gonna waste your time explaining my absence. I've been mostly engaging with the community, like locally. Content hasn't been speaking to me so much. That said, we do have a tournament going on tonight. It is being hosted by me, so I'll be a little bit busy and might not get a whole lot of filming done, but I will definitely film my battles, and we'll see if this content creator is washed or if I can still hang with the best of the best. The real question is if I will be including this bad boy, the new release Hover Wyvern, in my deck, because I just got it yesterday and I haven't done a whole lot of testing, but some people are rating it really highly. They're saying it's like S+ tier. So far I'm thinking it's kind of like Dran Buster, just a little more consistent. And I don't know if the glass cannon is really my play style, but this thing was putting in work for me yesterday, so I'm going through a lot. I'm doing a lot of math equations in my head to calculate what the best deck for me could be. Germ, how do you feel about Hover Wyvern?
Just don't get hit by it and you'll win, but if you get hit by it, then good luck, dude.
Let's go, Art! All right, guys, and we're going to get into the first match between me and Blader Doom, one of the best players out of the area. He kind of hopped onto the scene out of nowhere. And thinking about this match, it's kind of funny because we're both very by-the-book Bladers. Like, I like to sweat, he likes to sweat, and we're both pretty optimal with our combos and stuff. Like, both kind of spamming the S-tier blades. But our playstyles still turn out pretty differently, so I think that's pretty cool about Beyblade X. This first matchup, I threw Golem Rock into his Wizard Rod on 160 Hexa. 160 Hexa is kind of replacing the 960 ball rod. It just climbs the pocket like no other, and it still outspins everything. And then going into the second match, I always throw Dragoon second. It's an industry secret of mine, actually. And the meta's finally catching up here in Boise, Idaho. For a long time, Cobalt Dragoon has been winning and winning and winning. And finally, the Tide Whales are starting to pop up at the Walmarts around here. And so Silver Wolf Elevate has finally pulled through. But my Dragoon simply has the clutch gene. It somehow put up 3 points for me there with the extreme. And then third match, he throws Golem, which I didn't really expect from him. And then I have Arrow Pegasus in the third slot. I really like it as kind of an anchor. Maybe attack is antithetical to what an anchor is supposed to be, especially because it's actually not good in AVA. Versus Golem, I just got bursted by him. Yeah, no, Arrow is good in attack versus attack because it's stupidly heavy, but it does pretty poorly against Golem Rock. It'll just hit me upward really easily. And yeah, I just got bursted. So we're going first to 5 here, and I throw Golem. The way that I like to construct my decks is like attack, attack, stamina, but one of my attacks will be more all-out attack, and then I'll have like an anti-attack specializing in AVA. And so that's what I throw with my Golem here. It's really good as a scout into a reshuffle where it can land you 2 or 3 points, and then if it loses, it's just going to lose you 1 point. And spoiler alert, that is what happens here. So I think I appropriately hedged my bets. And then my camera runs out of storage, and I think my Dragoon gets bursted at the very beginning of the next battle, so I lost to Blader Doom. GG's. And next up, we have me versus Germ. You saw him earlier in the video, and as you can see, I swapped out my Golem Rock for Mr. Nightmail. I've been running Nightmail for a couple months now, usually on level, but level is on my Pegasus right now, so Nightmail's on Rush. And again, it kind of fulfills that role of anti-attack where it's really good against attack, it's good against stamina, but clearly the Wizard Rod is simply diff, and I was not able to knock it out here. And that's the kind of thing that makes me wish that I would have busted out the Hover Wyvern. But again, that blade is so glass cannon-y, it makes me really nervous using it. So instead of throwing something cool like Hover, I throw Cobalt Dragoon on Elevate, and Germ is rocking the Samurai Saber on Hexa. And so that is a solid defense type pick. I don't totally understand Germ's commitment to the Samurai Saber because he's always running it. He says it does really well against Cobalt on Elevate, and I just don't know if I see it, honestly. So Germ, if you're out there... Oh, wait, he's right. Oh, and I was actually bursted that battle. Luckily, I make it out alive and only lose the 1 point, so I'm down 2 points to nothing going into the third battle, where he throws Phoenix Wing versus my Arrow Pegasus, and Pegasus... Oh, it got the extreme. Oh my god. Pegasus is good in this matchup. Usually it'll just outspin, but I'll definitely take the 3 points. So that's a big time turn in the tides. The 3-point swing is too big in my opinion, but sometimes, you know, it plays in your favor, and I'll take it. We run into the same matchup here for game 3, or game 4, excuse me. And it looks like Pegasus is just holding it down here, not any huge action, but yeah, I definitely threw Pegasus again, looking to seal it in one match. And maybe he was thinking the same thing, maybe going for an extreme, but neither of us are going to get anything that's going to end the match. And so you already know I'm throwing Goon with that second pick, and he's throwing that Saber. So he read my mind. This is the preferred Goon counter of Germs. Let's see how it works out. And the more I watch this back, the more it just looks like a draw, but everyone reacted like the Goon outspun there decidedly, and so I'll take it. I'm now 1-1, GG's Germ. And real quick, we had 10 players show up to this tournament, so we split it into 2 groups of 5 and did a round robin on each side, and it was a ton of fun. So let's get into my next match versus Dragonfire. And of course, I forgot to press record for the first 2 or 3 matches of this one, so I think we're coming in during the first reshuffle. The score is 3-1 in my favor. I throw Nightmail against his Dragoon. I'm probably going to flat launch here, because that's just counterplay to Dragoon in my mind. It runs right into you, riding the rails. And yeah, so my Nightmail is able to get the burst on Dragoon. Not a lot of footage from that one, but it was a good match. GG's Dragonfire. I wish that I could rewatch that and study the film, but it is what it is. So I'm now 2-1 on the day, and my last match of pools is it called pools? I don't know. The round robin is against Red Scorpion. He just came onto the scene, and he's ready to go. Just look at him. And this kid definitely knows what he's doing. I switched to Wizard Rod on Rush as my anti-attacker. And his Goon, I didn't realize this, but he got a really bad launch. I thought my Rod just beat it up with that first hit. But now I see that his launcher actually malfunctioned, so that feels bad. That's definitely going to get me some bad Bay karma with RNGesus. And then so is this, throwing the Cobalt on Elevate. But he's got that Phoenix Wing, which has a favorable matchup. And so the game plan is Dragoon here. Is really that there's no game plan. I'm going to take some hits, and hopefully they're all in the wrong direction, or they don't send me over the extreme line into the pockets. And luckily, I'm able to pull it off there, so I go up 2-0. Third match, I throw the Arrow Pegasus, and Red Scorpion was like, no, he has Arrow, he's going to win, before the match. And then he proceeds to, perfectly counterpick me, and I'm not even just talking about the Pegasus match. The first 2 matches, he probably should have won on paper, so if he could keep up with the optimal counterpicks, this kid should have a bright future ahead of him. And yeah, my Pegasus loses to the defense type. That's how it goes, no surprises. And just look at how much more time I spend thinking about my reshuffle than he does. He's already standing there. And here we go. It's my Rod into his Scorpion. Let's see if I can outspin here, because I'm on Rush. I don't really know how this goes, honestly. I forgot.
Grinding the rail.
I'm missing all my extreme dashes. And who's the real noob here, honestly? I'm throwing the stock Wizard Rod out of the box. It took me 30 minutes to think of my reshuffle order. And yeah, this kid's going to even up the score at 2-2. I end up picking into another sus matchup. This is what I get for sticking to the Cobalt second every single time. Phoenix Wing versus Cobalt Dragoon. He probably should have killed me there. Oh, I don't remember that happening. My Cobalt actually hits him with the counterattack. And so I just need 1 more point here. I throw Arrow into his Cobalt Dragoon. Probably the first time that I have successfully counterpicked him, and not the other way around. I hit him into the pocket, but he comes back. I think he's rocking that 160 ratchet, but he lost so much spin from that, and his Goon is barely hanging on. I don't even think Medio El Drago could spin steal his way out of that. So GG's Red Scorpion. That was an epic match. And now Red Scorpion's Dragoon is going to be beefed up because he won off of left spin bays. He won the Tide Whale. So congrats to him, and shout out left spin bays. Super cool. And here we have the final 4. So it's going to be me versus Cabled. We'll see if I can make it to grand finals.
Go shoot. 3, 2, 1, go shoot.
Oh. 3, that's 2 out of 3.
No. That's 2 out of 3.
I'll never fall for your game. Cabled is a notorious practitioner of the emergency 2 out of 3. He'll always bust it out, and he'll always win. So you can't be accepting the 2 of 3 against him. And his Wizard Rod just self-bursts on the extreme line there. And so we're going to reshoot it. Here comes my Golem Rock versus his Wizard Rod. I'm back to the Golem Rock. I've switched it out pretty much every game, but I'm feeling the extra attack this time around compared to Nightmail. And the 160 has saved me twice this game, so I could be down 2-0 at this point. But Golem's just going to lose me 1 point like it often does. And going into the next match, I throw the old Dragoon into his Phoenix Wing. So again, throwing into this matchup, Not a wise decision, but am I going to be able to stay out of trouble? Oh my goodness, I am. All right, and my Cobalt Dragoon hits the Twinkle Toes against his Phoenix Wing for the third match. We are going my Aero Pegasus versus his Golem Rock. I definitely, like I said earlier, I don't like this matchup. But there's my Pegasus stalling in the corner. And yeah, Golem just hits me onto the line. Something about it, man. I've lost so many points against Golem Rock. I always lose 3 points against it as Pegasus. We are going 1st to 7 here, so the Pegasus throw, it's a bit of a Hail Mary, but not as much of a Hail Mary as it might have looked like. If you're seeing that without context. And there I am stalling in the corner. Huge contact. We both just went into the pocket. And it looks like Pegasus is old reliable. It's going to outspin Phoenix Wing. So it's going to keep me in this game as we go into match number 5. It's my Cobalt versus his Rod. And he's on low orb, so it gives me a little bit of trouble spin stealing here. But it is Goon versus Wizard Rod. And so we will speed this thing along. So I will even up the score here with one of the lamest matchups in the game. And here we pick into probably the sickest matchup in the game. We got the Golem Ditto. He's on a slightly higher height, but we do have the same combo, both rocking low rush.
3, 2, 1, go. Shoot. Contact.
Honestly, a much less eventful battle than I would have planned. One time, me and Cable were running Golem Dittos, just like in free play, and we both bursted, and we couldn't tell whose combo was whose. So it's very possible that I'm running his Golem right now, and he's running mine. And speaking of his Golem, he is going to get the outspin here. So I've gotten myself into a testy situation, but instead of throwing Goon second, I decided to throw Pegasus, because Goon is going to come through when the score is, something like 6-4, or 6-5, so I'm relying on Goon here, and hopefully Pegasus can get it done for me, maybe score me 2 or 3 points. But in this matchup, it's very consistent at just scoring 1, and so I'm not mad about it. And as you hear, the match was called a draw, and so I am not impartial myself, but the judge is impartial. The judges say goes, and so we run this one right back.
2, 1, go. Contact.
And he actually smacks me off the back wall back into play. But here we see Pegasus. It is definitely not going to outspin this time around after spending that time in the pocket. And I totally had a massive brain fart earlier. I thought that I was throwing Goon third here, but here we see Golem Rock. He's going to pull through. One of the more controversial moments of the tourney. I hit him with my double drop launch, get the extreme, get the win. And we kind of negotiate about the rules for a second, and it's determined that that was a legitimate strat. That's how they call it in Japan, and so that is an extreme finish for me. I'll be moving to the finals. But if we're to go by WBO rules, that is a launcher fault on my part. We should have redone that battle, and so we're no atoning for it now. I think I'm just going to atone for it in terms of Beyblade RNGesus biting me in the ass one day.
1, go. Contact. Extreme finish. Persona base.
Good game, man.
Take the game. 7-3.
Awesome.
All right, and here we are in grand finals. It'll be 1st to 7, me versus Persona Bays. He's rocking Scorpio Spear in this first game, and I'm back to Night Mail. Of course, I simply can't use the same deck 2 matches in a row, and that was scored as mid-air contact, so we will do it again. He's actually rocking Cobalt Drake somewhere in this deck. He's got that silver one, and he'll stick by it, so I think that's pretty sweet. Definitely something to be nervous about for me. And here, I think I just said it, but I don't like this matchup for Night Mail. Scorpio Spear is simply super tanky, and it's another situation where it's like Hover Wyvern would be good here, but Night Mail is too much of like a jack of all trades, master of none, and so we'll get outspun here. I shouldn't talk bad about Night Mail though. That guy has been my rock for a long time, and here we are, second bay. We're both throwing the Cobalt Dragoon on Elevate, and so I'm gonna launch pretty hard here because I just am committed to that outspin, and he goes for a bit of a softer launch. Oh my goodness, what happened? I did get launched out of the stadium, and so that will void the battle. We're gonna run it right back. Should that have counted as a burst? I don't really think so. We're always talking about how burst priority doesn't exist anymore, and it's super confusing, so I gotta catch up on my WBO rules. Anyways, my Cobalt is able to get the 2 points, so ball don't lie, I guess. Third match, we pick into the rare Baguette battle. I can't say that I've tested very much against Cobalt Drake, so I don't really know how this goes. And that is a bit of mid-air contact, but it doesn't get called, and then my arrow goes into the pocket right before his Cobalt Drake self-extremes. So, like I said, Beyblade RNGesus. He waits for no man, and now I am down 3-2. We spend some time thinking about our reshuffles, and I go with Night Mail. It's pretty safe to throw here, and I match up against Cobalt Dragoon, so I'm probably going to flat launch. Let's see what happens. Hopefully I can land the KO here. Oh, that hurts to watch. Here, play the Dragonfire game. Play the Dragonfire game. Yeah, this one is canon. That's what really happened. Okay, that's brutal. Clearly I'm ready to move on to the next battle. I got Cobalt into his Scorpion, so that is the matchup that I do want to see. It's the one Bay that like will consistently beat it. So I am a dead man walking here, knocking on heaven's door. My Cobalt Dragoon does buy some time for me. We will go into, what is this, match number 6? And so we pick back into that same matchup from before, Pegasus versus Cobalt Drake. And I hit the nastiest stall of all time, and he self-KOs. No contact. It hurts me to see. My stall when we reshoot is simply not as good, unfortunately. Maybe this could have landed me 2 or 3 points. But instead, these two are just going to duke it out. And, you know, after the little first part of the battle, when you stall and then you attack, it kind of just enters the crapshoot stage of the Beyblade match. On here, Arrow Pegasus is able to win that one out. So it is 6-4 going into the last reshuffle. And this is a big decision for me. I could throw Pegasus, go for a Hail Mary, and I probably should, knowing that he just needs 1 point and he's probably going to throw Dragoon. But unfortunately, that's not what I do. I'm feeling cowardly on this fine Sunday evening. I shouldn't sound so defeated. It's just a Cobalt Dragoon Ditto, and he is launching pretty weakly. And I won the first one, so I shouldn't be tweaking. But of all things, he extremes me. He beats me 9-4. GG's Persona Bays. Well, I came close. That was an epic battle. I'm not even gonna lie. The calls were going both ways. The parts were flying through the whole venue. I'm very disappointed. We'll get some interviews with the winners and stuff. Bruh. Chat, what should I pick? Box. I think I'm gonna pick a deck box.
Yay! Elevate.
All right, elevate. No.
It's Black Whale.
I think so, yeah. All right, guys, let's see what I pulled.
Yeah, Black Whale. I called it. I knew it.
Let's see what I pulled.
It's always the Black Whale.
Hey, the one I wanted!
Ooh, that's clean. All right, guys. Oh, silly me. Yeah, you saw how that went. That was, you know, pretty disappointing in the end there. And I mean, we were both cowards. We both threw that goon first. I should have expected him to. I kind of totally had a brain fart there. I should have just thrown arrow first, but whatever. I mean, coulda, shoulda, woulda, you know. I think I still did well that day. You know, I kind of got saved by the bell against Cabled there in the semifinals. So arguably, I shouldn't have even been in that finals match. So I'm happy with how things went. Organizationally too, like, we're trying to get it going over here. July 19th, come on out to Boise, Idaho to play in a state qualifier to win you a ticket to Corpus Christi, Texas to go play in Baycon. It's going to be like what Hasbro fails to deliver us is what the WBO and Baycon are seeking to provide us with the players, so that it's not 8 through 12, it's peak Beyblade through the grassroots, you know, not just relying on Hasbro. So those are my thoughts, guys. Thanks for checking out the video. I'm gonna win next time. I'm gonna go to Corpus Christi, Texas.